Welcome everybody to the very first ODK space. Very happy to be here. It's been a long time coming, and this is my first time hosting. So cut me some slack. We'll do the best that I can to keep this vibey, keep this informational. We have a lot of announcements. May have a giveaway or two. So just kick back, relax, and tune in. It's gonna be a very chill one. So first and foremost, right? Who am I, right? Who is your host? My name is Andrew Lipo. I am a contemporary fine artist, and I have been in the space for about 5 to 6 months as a builder, 2.5 months as a one-on-one artist, and it's been great, man. Considering I came into this space due to a friend. I invested in this project, and I just fell in love with the way that Solana communities are able to form at a very fast, organic pace. And that's what really intrigued me to be here now. So, yeah, if you guys don't know, I am the founder of One Dope Kids. We are an art utility focused project. And man, we have been building like crazy for the past few months, and we're finally excited to start showing some of what we've been doing. So, all right, so today's special, right? What do we have going on today? We have a couple of things. First, we have our very first auction that we are very, very excited to announce on Exchange. It's actually going to start in about 22 minutes. We have 5 of these auctions that we're going to be doing, and they are all in collaborations with one-on-one artists that are already in the space. The first one being with Tripp Art. So big shout outs to Tripp Art. He did an incredible job. We were able to create a really sick critter that really emphasizes what he's about, his art style, and I'm just definitely proud, man. So that's one thing we have going on. Another thing we have going on is we're announcing the giveaway of our Poke Center, which is a one-on-one art piece by LaFront and DJ Poet. So I'm very excited to announce that. And what else, man? We're gonna get to know about Tripp Art a little bit. We aren't able to have him on space due to the language barrier, but he was able to answer some questions ahead of time. So I will be talking for him in regards to that, his process of creating, and what it means to be an artist for himself. So yeah, everybody coming in, welcome to the space, and happy to be here, happy to host. Can't wait to dive into the creative minds. I really want to get into the process or get into the conversation of artists' processes, right? And what it means to be a creative. What does that come with? For me, it's many things. I've done this for a very, very long time. I've been in the fine art space for about 12 years. I've been collecting for about 3 years in real life, and it's been a really cool process to have all my experiences come into Web3 and be able to share that with all of you guys. So, yeah, we're gonna go straight into it, man. I'm gonna bring up Drew. He's one of our team members, but he's also a very, very incredible artist, creative himself. And we're gonna kind of start the conversation between me and him about the creative process and what it means to be creative and all this. But we definitely welcome everybody who is a creative themselves to come on up and just vibe out, ask some questions. If you want to say something between the space, just come on in. Don't be shy. And yeah, it's gonna be a really cool one. So yeah, man. How's it going, Drew? You want to introduce yourself real quick?
Marco, yeah. Thanks so much. It's great being here, and I just have to say shout out to everyone that's here. See a lot of friendly faces and sneaky. I see you hiding. Feel free to sneak on up here if you so feel. Much love for you being here. But yeah, so essentially, I've been working full time in the Web3 space for about 2 years, working with various cryptocurrencies, NFT projects, pretty much as like a creative that's supporting on the business level. And I've been exploring on my side a lot of my, I guess, creative side, right? My art side and who I am as an artist, and exploring that further, because I don't always get to itch that creative side when I am working with brands. It's always audience focused or whatever, and so when I'm starting to kind of enter that creative space after work, then I really just get to explore and have fun. So I'm really thankful for being here, and everybody that's in the audience. And yeah, Lyco, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. And this is one thing I'm always curious, when I'm talking to the creators or the artists, is kind of like the thought process of attacking a piece or a certain project, right? Like, what's the mindset that you go into when you're creating? What is it that you're thinking about? What are you feeling? And as for me, it's something that's always changing, but there's certain things that stay consistent, and this is very important for brand awareness for your style, right? So I guess the question for you, Drew, is like, when you go into your creative process, what does that look like? What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? Does it change for you? Is there certain things that are pretty constant with your process?
Yeah, 100%. I think the context definitely matters. I've always used my form of art as a and if we can throw up some of that from my profile, that'd be awesome. But um, we I've always used my personal art as a way of escaping, and a way of kind of letting out emotions that I've kind of just kept in a little bit. Not to get too deep and just dive right in, but it's definitely been something that's very personal and near and dear to my heart. But that process overlays directly with the work I do with brands and everything, and it's interesting exploring that overlap, because it's all based around emotion. When I kind of take a step back and look at how I'm feeling and the stories I'm trying to tell, um, it's just presented in a different format, whatever the work I'm doing. So as a creative, I think first and foremost, for me, empathy is number one. I look back and look at all the pieces of artwork I've done, from a lot of events, traumatic or not, that have happened in my life. It's been a journey, and it's kind of a way to document that, right? So needless to say, I guess that's the overlap for me, is just the empathetic storytelling that comes with it. Lyco, you have a unique experience there as well, because you're directly in the fine art world. How does that impact you in the work that you're doing?
I think, I mean, you said it very, very well. I think, as for me, I see myself, when I'm creating art or being an artist, like having this kind of social currency, right? Like this energy, and at the end of the day, everything's tied in with your emotions and what you're putting out into the world, and that's really what artists are really selling. It's their energy. It's the vibe that they're bringing, right? How are they making a set person feel? And so for me, being able to be in the fine art space and being able to travel, man, and really learn and getting to experience a lot of different cultures, it really made me understand more and more who I really am and who I want to be, and kind of like the voice that I want to go ahead and put out into the world. And so for me, it's like it's been extensive. It's you're constantly digging into your heart, trying to pull out the best work that you possibly can, because at the end of the day, people are investing into you. They're buying your art, and it's for good reason. So you have to constantly be pulling from a place that where the magic's at. And so it's been interesting, man, because it's been hard times. Yeah, I do this full time. It's a blessing I'll be able to do this full time. But at the same time, there's been some months when I'm completely fucking drained, right? And I'm just like, yo, like I need to relax a little bit. Like like how much more can I dig? I need to recharge a bit. So I see myself kind of like this social battery that when I'm out and about, meeting collectors, talking to people, networking like crazy. I'm just giving, man. I'm just giving, 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 and I know that that's that it doesn't have to be that way every time. There's definitely different ways to go about your art, but for me, that's what works and that's what I enjoy. I just needed to kind of know what my limit was and how to structure it. But yeah, man, that's kind of been my process. It was just like learning through my own life experiences and crossing that with what I want to give out to the world as far as visual art work goes. So it's been very, very fucking interesting. That's what I'm saying. I'm so fucking excited when I talk to other creatives because we are doing the same thing in our own ways based on our own lives, right? So it's like, damn, I want to know exactly what you're about. I want to know what kind of flavor that you're bringing into the table. Like, bro, I just want to feel the different energy that every person has to offer. Because at the end of the day, there's nobody else like us in this world, right? There's only one of you. So you have this special something that you can really give out to the world. It's just a matter of like how you want to present that. And Web3, I think, does a very good job at allowing us the opportunities to do this from a tech side of things and having this type of tech as opposed to 10, 15 years ago when people didn't have the chance to have all this power on your phone, right? So I think it's very interesting how we see the art forms and the way creators create throughout time, because it's definitely changing at a very fast, rapid pace.
So I have a question for you. Um, on that topic of kind of the uniqueness of the perspectives of every artist, being their own individual, how has your travel impacted your artwork? Because you've been all over, and I admire you for that. Um,
It's
has it impacted your work?
You know what? You know what's funny? In the moment while you're amongst traveling and going to different places, yeah, like yeah, once you land somewhere else, you see your environment, you're like, okay, well, yeah, this is definitely new. But in the moment, you don't think you're being influenced, right? Like at least you're not really seeing it. But throughout time, as I go back and I look at some of my artworks from before, I do see changes, right? I'm like, oh shit, like I can see from this period and this period something changed, and then this is something I do constantly. I like to look at my old stuff just to see kind of like remind myself the progression because as artists when we're always creating we tend to kind of get stuck in the zone of just creation and not so much of analyzing and taking a step back and be like, yo, okay, well, how much have I really progressed, right? And it goes in the form of your visual art and yourself as a person too. So for me, I think documentation it comes a it's very important for us to do because you're able to remind yourself like, yo, man, like even if you don't feel like you progressed, just look back at a couple months, right, based on where you were, you'll see the difference. And so for me, being able to have kind of like Instagram as a portfolio where I can look back and be like, oh shit, when I was in Thailand, I was like rocking with this wave, right? Releasing this stuff, doing this at that time. And now I'm in Mexico and I'm like, okay, well, I've been seeing a lot of like this Day of the Dead type of art, right? They're very into that culture of the dead. And so it's kind of cool seeing all the artistic form that they do with skeletons and stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if that's gonna influence my stuff going forward, right? So yeah, very good question, bro. And to answer that, I would say, yeah, I think your people get influenced by many things, and by traveling, that's like one of the most extensive ones that it's kind of like bound to happen. It's inevitable. So I do think
100%.
traveling is it's very cool, man, for your experience of creation.
Yeah, I love that. And to kind of add on, I mean, I just went on a trip through Europe. Um, and I mean, I went solo for a good part of it, and man, that changes you, significantly. And when I sat down back in the U.S. to create some artwork, I realized that I entered the kind of like same space of stillness um, that I was in when I was sitting alone in my hotel room, like completely depressed and alone, And sorry to bring it down there, but like it's truly like
Hey, it's
it
real,
made me
man.
realize.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it made me realize some really cool stuff about just what it takes to create and the level of stillness that is required when you do enter that space of creativity. So whatever the emotion is, you kind of just have to accept it and run with it. You know, whether you're in Europe or floating through the Middle East, it's pretty cool.
Nah,
So
shit. Hey, big
yeah,
ups to you, man, for taking the time, and not just the time, but having the balls to be able to do that, to travel by yourself. Not a lot of people are able to do that, and
man, it's difficult.
it is, but you learn so much about yourself, right? And that's only gonna help with your creation, with your creative process as well. So like, I've done this before. Before I was even able to fucking afford to travel, right? I was like, okay, well, what can I do to kind of like put myself in these like stressful or uncomfortable situations, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and so I started off going to like coffee shops by myself first, right? And getting coffee and just sitting down and like legitimately just being there, right? If somebody comes talk to me, cool. If they don't, I'm just gonna be there. And so I did that, right? And then I ended up doing going from there to going to a club or to a bar by myself, right? And then that was a little bit interesting. It was a little bit more hectic, but after like the first few minutes, you just like, ah, fuck it, especially if you're vibing with the music, you just go on with your night and you eventually meet people, bro. And for me, that was like one of the most powerful things to see how I can take myself anywhere, plant myself, in their environment, and people just naturally start to like come to you to talk or whatever because they see that you're by yourself and they're very intrigued. Like, who the fuck's this guy? He just like, with no
Dude, I
friends,
got that
like.
so many times. Yeah, yeah, I love that. And there is sometimes a stigma around just like it being like quote unquote weird to be alone or like sitting at a coffee shop alone and like it's kind of that internal dialogue of like, okay, people are thinking I'm weird because I'm not talking to somebody or I'm not on my phone kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
And it's just such a freeing experience when you just let go and say, okay, well, who cares, you know?
Bro,
So I,
hearts to that.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that is a
100%.
fucking process. And I'm telling you, if you never done that, take your ass to a coffee shop, and just go by yourself and stay there for a good 30 minutes, right? And don't be on your phone and don't give in, right? Just feel that uncomfortableness that you're alone, people are watching you, because the more you do that, the less you start to care about what other people truly think, and the more you're able to kind of really express yourself in any form with any person, right? And so leading, like, I think this is a really cool topic to lead into, what happens when you get to a certain level and you start to meet these fucking collectors that are just, deep pockets, and they're like their own character, and they're very like, I don't want to say narcissists, but they're very like what they know is what's truth.
Hey, Lyco,
Yeah.
before we get into that, I do want to say we have a sorcery who came up here.
Oh shit.
Welcome to the stage, sorcery.
Oh,
We love you.
Welcome,
We
welcome.
appreciate you for coming and
What?
visit us.
We were a little stuck in conversation
for real,
there.
I didn't
What
even
up?
see
What up?
that, man.
What
What's
up?
good, man? Welcome to the
Welcome,
space.
Yeah,
welcome.
Shit.
GM, it's Hercules, man. What's up, fellas? How you guys vibing here?
Hercules.
We,
Good, man,
How you
good.
doing,
Thanks
brother?
for coming up.
just.
Enjoying the
Yeah, dude.
conversation.
Mhm.
Love the combo, dude. I could dive into this shit with you guys, man. Yeah, I love the fact that you just brought up how like don't use your cell phone in those situations. I love that because I feel like a lot of people use their cell phones as like, like safety, like, as like, don't look, don't bother me. Like I'm on my cell phone, I'm very, kind of like a distraction almost. I love how you mentioned that.
Yeah, man. And the reason we're mentioning this is because although people might not think these are successful exercises, they fucking are, right? At the end of the day, the more confident you are as a person, the better the rest of your life is going to be, whether it be your art, your business, because at least you're going to know what you're about and how you can portray yourself to the world and what you stand for. And if you can't go to a fucking coffee shop and be uncomfortable for 30 minutes, how do you expect to fucking change the world, bro? At least like influence it in some type of way, right? So these little things that really help me out. And, with Drew, with his experience of traveling alone as well, I know he knows what that feels like. And so, yeah, I think it's a very important thing to kind of like put yourself in these situations willingly, not by force.
Yeah, 100%. And I do feel that oftentimes my most creative, insightful aha moments come when I am just fully, I guess, just like accepting of the moment that, like, okay, I'm alone and I'm here, and I'm present and I'm still. And when I allow that moment to happen, I start observing the things around me, and I go, okay, well, that would actually be a cool, art piece if I pulled this and this together. And it becomes now more of a game. Like life becomes more of a game rather than questioning in your mind, okay, am I overthinking this or whatever. So I do think we need to transition the conversation to, we have an auction coming up. Like, if you want to talk briefly about that.
Yeah, man, fucking stoked. So this very first auction, right? It's in a collaboration with Tripp. We're not able to have him here right now, but he was able to answer some questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question, and then answer briefly based on what he answered, to kind of get to know him a little bit, right? Before we actually go live with the auction in a few minutes. So I asked him, some really good questions. First of all, what's his background? And this is very interesting because I was actually asking the background of himself, right? But he took it as in, what's the background of this critter that he created? So he started off by saying the background is like an ancient arena where battles of the most amazing creatures took place. So he kind of started to create this story narrative for his critter, which is very fucking dope to see. And this is one thing I really, really admire artists for doing. It's kind of like, if you're able to create a world of your own, that's one of the things that I look for as a collector, that if an artist can or a creative can do, right? Because that shows me a lot that your thought process going into this is so extensive that you want to create a whole fucking world for yourself, right? And so I thought that was pretty cool. And all right, so going on to the next question, I asked him, how did he get into art, right? And he answered, I came to art in order to realize my wild thoughts that sit in my head. Art is the only way to let your imagination run wild. And that's very true. I know for a lot of us, it's an escape, right? To kind of be able to be in the zones that we want to be for ourselves. So number three, I asked him, what do you feel when you create? you know? And he answered, when I create art, it's hard to say how I feel. I just immerse myself in the process, clouded by weed head. Initially, different fantasies form in my head. Choosing one of them, I started to think of a little story, and with those thoughts, I get to work. Sometimes I wonder if the people who follow me will like the next drop, but at the same time, I realize that I have to do what I have to do, what I like. Otherwise, why am I here? Fucking powerful, bro.
Look
Shit,
at that.
you know what? Some fucking claps
That's
for
the
that,
coffee
dude.
shop right there. That's the
Exactly,
coffee
man.
shop.
Wow. Hella inspired by that. And see what I mean? It's like people who are able to do this and understand this for themselves, like, yo, why am I fucking creating, right? Exactly right there, bro. He's creating for the world, but he's creating for himself first and foremost. Because if he doesn't, he's just gonna put out stuff that he himself doesn't believe in, right? So that's very, very fucking impressive to see. All right, two or three more questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and reveal his artwork, right? So, question number four: why the name Trip Art? And he answers, it's really quite simple. My very first series is Trip Dale World, and my original plans were to do trippy and psychedelic art. Well, that soon changed, and I wanted variety. So he started with one idea, and he slowly started to transition into other things, which is totally fine. It's like, as a creator, you're not bound to just one idea, one thought, one process. The beauty of life is being able to transition and explore and, become a whole new evolution of yourself throughout time. So that's very dope to see. All right, number five. I asked him, why did you agree to this collaboration? He answers, why did I agree to the collab with you? I don't know. I just saw that the founder of the One on One project is an artist, and in general, I like when projects collaborate with artists because one on one art is the future. Dope. I'll take that.
Love
Okay,
that.
cool. Yeah,
Love
he's
that.
very honest, man. This guy's
Yeah,
very
I hear
just,
that. I love it.
So some hearts for that. All right, last question before we reveal his art, right? Because I believe the auction already started. So I asked him, "What were you thinking while creating your critter?" And he answers, "I admittedly pictured my critters as a gladiator fighter in dragon armor. I don't know why, but the image was the first one on my mind. I also thought of Pokemon." So quite the mix, right? And he just ran with it. He had the thought, he had the vision, and he just put it on paper, put it on the iPad, and created one of the dopest critters that I've seen thus far. And we've created some really fucking sick art. But so yeah, that was the last question. Shout out to Trip Art for that. Big thank you for first of all
Get some
agreeing to
hearts to him.
collaborate. Yeah, man, really, really fucking talented, creative. And yeah, let's go ahead and
It's
showcase
not
him at the
pinned.
auction. Yeah, it's now pinned. Okay,
Yep,
so
it's
for
not pinned.
if you guys are seeing it, let me see. I want to talk about it a little bit, right? Just based on what how I see the artwork, what it tells me, and yeah. So let me pull it up real quick. Okay. So yeah, this is really cool, man. I honestly had no idea what to expect when we gave him the base critter, right? I just told him, yo, just use the shape and go ham, bro. Like do whatever you want, really. Like really showcase yourself in this. And so it's very powerful, man. Like I'm seeing he really he really went all in on this. Starting off with the background, the detail, man, the shape, the color, like it's pretty crazy, dude. Like for me to recreate this, I wouldn't even know where to start, right? And I think that's the beauty of it. It's like if I want this, I need to just go ahead and ask him for one or get it from him because to recreate this, it will be a nightmare for me. Like, there's no way. But yeah, man, this is pretty fucking cool. Like,
Love it. Love it.
yeah, I mean, you guys, you drew. Did you ever think that a gladiator type critter would look like this?
That's not where I would go, that's for sure. So I think
Right?
it shows the narrative of how cool it is to just be an artist with a unique perspective on everything. Just wanted to say welcome up, DeFi District. Who's behind that profile picture there?
It's me and my fiance. We're in line for the marriage or getting our marriage
Oh my
license right
god!
now.
Oh my
Oh
God.
What are you
shit!
doing here?
Get off your Twitter.
Dude,
We're
degenerous.
both in
Fuck,
line anyways.
yo.
So I just want to support as
Crazy,
always.
man.
We're
Much
here.
love, man.
We're here to commit greatness, man. So we love y'all. That's all it is.
Much love, much love. Thanks for
Much love
stopping
and
by.
congrats, man.
Congrats, yes,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yo, that's wild,
Better
bro.
go get
That's
married,
some
Go
combo
get
bro.
right
married, my guy.
there. That's so good. I love
Yo,
it.
the very first ODK space, and we caught him in line about to get married. Fucking goated, bro. Shit.
Oh man, that's going down in history right there.
Oh, bro, congrats to you, man. Super happy. Shit, when you throw a party or something, let me know, man. I'm in Mexico now, so that flight is
Okay. Yeah, man.
easy,
Hey,
easy.
same with you though, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be out there to support you and all. We're doing a quick one out here in Vegas and having some fun and shit. But we're being little degens, but we're here to support you too and shit, man. So I'll definitely catch you. We're not too far away now. So
No, not at all. And I'm actually in the same boat, bro. I'm engaged,
yep,
soon to be
that's why
married. So
that's why I said congrats, baby. Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Adulting, man, feels great.
Look at all the love flying through the air.
I know, shit.
Literally. I love that, man.
But
Love that.
yeah, so to get back into things, yeah, that's Trip Art, man. Super stoked to see what he has coming. The guy is always creating, and I'm just very happy to be able to capture this one-on-one collaboration with him. So yeah, we have the post pinned for the auction. It will be live for 24 hours, and all the bidders that bid on this auction are actually whitelisted to our ODK project for phase two, which is ODK Critters. It's a 1K supply, and yeah, man, I'm just very very fucking stoked to finally start to showcase that art because it's been like 6 months of just constantly developing scrapping, changing stuff, and it's finally at a place where I'm comfortable enough to be like, yo, this is it. Like, this is the fucking art. So yeah, for those that don't know, my name is Andrew Lyko. I'm a contemporary fine artist, and this is One Dope Kids. It's the house for collectors. It's the house for creatives. It's an art utility project, and we're here to really empower both sides, not just one side. We have a couple things coming out very, very soon, and we're just very excited to announce it, man. All in due time, everything's about timing. But yeah, I
I see
wanted to keep
Sorcery
this
has their
space.
hand up right now. Let's give a little Sorcery the floor for a second. What you got to say?
Yeah, word.
Yeah, I think like, dude, like coming from a personal perspective, like Lyko and I probably met what in like May, maybe June was the first time we ever had like a phone call about what One Dope Kids was at that time. And I think like you had a very different vision for the project then than what it is now. But I feel like the mission, which was always like your mission of like bringing artists into Web3, like using One Dope Kids as like a method to onboard artists and like support them. Like it seems like the mission has never changed. And like I feel like that's huge, man. Like a lot of people, this project might be new to them. Like, they might not be familiar with you, but like, dude, like as a guy who's this project for like now, like to see it come to fruition. I guess like my question was like, how did you end up with Critters? You know what I mean? Like how, yeah, why the character? How did that come about?
Yeah, man. Real quick on that, fucking thank you for that, man. Like for those flowers, because this is something I hold dear to my heart. This ODK, this came from real life experiences. Like the reason it was ODK was because I myself became one dope kid in my mind, and that led me to so many fucking things that I'm able to be in this position now. But to answer your question with critters and the whole reason with the why, it's like I think that's very important to kind of stick as our mission, right? Like the products may change, and they will change, but the overall reason why we're doing what we're doing will always stay the same. At least for me, that's like the one of the most important thing, if not the most important thing, to always keep that perspective, right, and keep that why super strong throughout all the growth as things change. And so with critters, that wasn't the original idea in the beginning, bro. In the beginning, we minted out these alleyways, right? These for kings. It was 55 of them, and we were gonna do like just a variation of these kings, of these alleyways. At least at the time, that's how I thought NFTs were, right? With like generative projects, just change like this here and there. And so that was my mindset. But then afterwards, I was like, yo, like there's so much more to this that we can do. And so as an artist, you tend to scrap something, and we have a better idea and a better idea. And finally we got to a place where I was like, okay, well, let's fucking do this figure, this critter, right? That goes both ways. So this critter is attached to our emotions. It's kind of like a physical embodiment of our emotions. And there's two of them. There's the dope critter and the corrupt, right? Where the dope is all, happy, joyful, curious, surprised. And the corrupt is all the, mischievous, sadness, anger, jealousy. And so as people, we're influenced by both sides, whether you like it or not. And actually, some people tend to, like what? All right. So why even have corrupt critters in the collection, right? Because it's a 1K collection split into two, and they're showing both sides. Some people actually love to be portrayed as the villain or like as the bad guy, whatever. So coming into this, I was like, bro, let's not leave those people out. Like, people aren't always up and jolly and fucking happy. I mean, look at the times right now. People are sad, people are scared. And so, why not show that with our critters as well and bring in popular culture with that combination of the emotions and really make it something fucking nostalgic and super truly special and sentimental to the collector. And so that's why we came up with critters. And it was easy concept to grasp, but it was so fucking difficult to put it on paper and actually create an original character that is so like you can add and take away so much to it, and it'll still be a critter, right? So that was like the hardest process, bro. Like taking that idea and creating like this simple form of a critter that can be very recognizable and very sentimentally attached to people, to us. And so that's how that came about. And yeah, man, we just went with the idea, and I was like, yo, this is it. We've got to do it. And we're finally at a point where we're almost there to finally, release everything that we've done.
It's been a beautiful process. And I think it's also important to note that the critters have become kind of a canvas, right? We're really an artist focused project. And, looking at the critters, I mean, especially the auction today, it goes to show that, every artist can have their own iteration, their own perspective on, the emotions attached to what it means to be ODK, One Dope Kid. And, it's beautiful, even just seeing this one auction, but also, I probably shouldn't say this, but some of the others that are coming through as well. And it's just really sick to see. So, yeah, man, I'm excited as well. And I think that it's just a perfect middle ground for onboarding creatives into the space and giving them that opportunity. But also, really touching the emotional aspect of it, and kind of recognizing that it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be pissed off, and whatever we call negative emotions are. That's why it's 50-50 in the collection. So, yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah, dude, I'm super fucking stoked. And like we pulled like literally from all the fucking at least while we were creating these, right? We pulled from every fucking generation of cartoons that have had a really strong impact in our lives, right? And we did it in a very cool way where it's like you're able to recognize that a set character was influenced or influencing this type of critter, and you're able to see and understand, but it's definitely not that character. We just took that energy and applied it to our critters. So the critters actually have 100 one-on-ones in the collection, bro, which was kind of stupid of me to do because it's so much fucking work, man. But you know what? It's gonna be worth it, and it's just a beautiful process to see it through, and being able to be here now and have this collaboration with Tripp Art, and more soon to come. It's a beautiful thing, especially with the whole thing with the sentiment now and the way the market's been. It's like we need something to be excited for, right? And so shout out to Pop Hits too for having a successful mint right now, man. It's fucking great. Their art is insane, really, really fucking clean. So yeah, big ups to you if you're able to mint one today. I believe they minted today, right?
I do want to point out that inspiration for the critters also they were like kind of portrayed in our King NFTs as well. If you ever looked at the King NFT, we have the dumpster. There's some stickers on it, and so those are like the first generation inspiration behind like what's a critter, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful little alpha. Maybe we'll allude to the next collection in these critters. Who knows?
Yeah. So for those that are not too familiar, that's our mission, man. Like honestly, from being a creator myself from the fine art space, is I really just want to be able to provide the same, if not better, opportunities for both creatives and collectors to kind of feel what I feel, right? To get to this point and being able to influence and just create and be doing this full time. It's my passion, right? I'm gonna fucking die doing this, and so I just want to bring up as many people as possible. And so far, so good, man. We've had some fucking success stories within ODK already with some artists, and it's so beautiful to see because we honestly don't even have a collection now besides the Kings, which is like 55 NFTs compared to 10K, 5Ks. It's like nothing, bro. And the fact that we're able to get to a place where we are now is so fucking amazing, and I'm bullish on us, on our team, and everybody in ODK. as a supporter, just anyone who fucks with it. It's like, yo, we're gonna go far, but we do this shit together. And so that's the whole reason with all of this. I don't have to be doing this, dude. I could be chilling, just painting in my studio, right? Smoking a J, like kicking back. But I'd rather be here on this call, stressing about the auction, stressing about this, creating art for others. It's like, it's what I'm about. So, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna live it.
I love it. Like, I have a question for you. So, where does that passion, do you think, come from? I mean, like supporting others and uplifting the artists. Where do you think that stems from?
Fuck, bro. It comes from a place that all these things that I never had growing up, bro. I had it rough. Like, I had to fucking hustle my way out. And I'm just like, if I can relieve some of this stress to somebody else, from somebody else, I mean, I will do it, because I know what it felt like to literally want to create, but not having the resources, or wanting to express yourself, but being shut down, or like being made fun of, right? It's like, yo, I'm a fucking misfit. I'm weird, right? It's like, I just do what I want to do, and I express in a way that doesn't hurt others, but it makes me feel happy. And I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to fucking feel happy. And so that's why, man, I put myself in this space of always feeling like I'm the underdog, always feeling like I have more to show. I need to give more, right? It's always about, I need to give more, because I find fulfillment when somebody else is able to find themselves. And if I'm able to kind of influence that, or at least plug them, or, do any little action that gets them a step further to their goal, bro, I'm gonna do it. It's fucking, no brainer for me. But it's not like that for everybody. So, we do come across shady dealers, shady people trying to take advantage and shit. And that's another thing I went through, bro. I had brokers like straight try to fucking hustle me, and they did, right? Like, a lot of them, made a lot of money off of me. And I didn't know it at the time, but, it's just one of the things that you learn. And as each level that you get to, there's always going to be bullshit, right? It's just a matter of how, like, knowing how to handle it, and switching the sentiment to make it be beneficial for you. So that's to answer that question right there.
So, at what point in your career did you kind of realize, like, okay, you know what, I have to pursue art full time? Because I feel like there is like a flip of a switch with anybody that's in a creative career. That's like, all right, well, I know it's a difficult path. I have to take it, right?
Yeah, yeah. For me, dude, it was really like, I've had, all right, so I had a quite a bit of life experiences where my life could have gone a whole nother way and fast, right? One thing about myself that never changed was I've always figured shit out. Whether it was something small or big, I just figured shit out. And for me, my first real dream was to become a pro soccer player. And I did that for like 20 plus years. And I made it all the way up to college on a full ride, uh, off of soccer, off of being a really good player. And I wanted to be pro, right? And I got into my 20s, and I thought I was going to go pro. And, it was up to the point where I started to see my body start to really take some heavy, heavy hits, and like starting to take damage. I was like, yo, like, bro, all it takes is one injury for me to just completely just ruin my life, I guess. And I was not content with that. I was like, nope, don't want to do that. Don't want to break my legs and shit. Like going up against these 6'2" English European guys, like slide tackling me. I was like, not for me. I want my legs, right? And so making that choice onto the next thing, right? All right, I got my degree. I went to a private liberal arts school, got my business degree. Cool. What next? So I went to I went to a brokerage, and I was actually selling business for a living for like 2 years. I was a business broker, suit and tie, fucking nice house. I had my girl at the time, nice car, driving to like the suburban, like this city, to Long Beach actually, to LinkedIn, just doing like this business type shit, right? And I was like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I was making cool money, but it was just so fucking boring, bro. I was just like, dude, there has to be more to this, right? I was like, this cannot be it. Like, this is my life for the rest of my life. Like, nah. So I made a really hard choice, man. I was like, okay, well, either, be this guy that you're like fucking 20% happy with your life, or just completely fall off the rails and just, into the nothingness and figure shit out, right? And so I had about like 1 year's savings to really just go ham and either do nothing or do everything, right? So I just went into art full time, bro. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this shit. Like, and I'm gonna do this shit in a way that I'm gonna have no regrets at all. Like, I'm all in, right? No fucks given. I don't care what people think. I'm gonna change my hair. I'm gonna fucking dye it. I'm gonna dress different, and I'm gonna just be Lyco. And if people fuck with it, cool. If they don't, I don't give a fuck, right? So that was my mindset, bro. And that got me to a whole nother place that I had no fucking clue I was gonna get to. So yeah, that answers that question, I hope.
I had no clue that you had these experiences, man. That is insane. Like, I'm actually sitting here just completely mind fucked, to be brutally honest with you. But I also think that you have a lot of, experiences that you can pull from into your current career, It's like kind of capitalizing on the things you learned when you were kind of working that mundane lifestyle that you didn't like, and you're now applying it into a world that you do, So hats off to you. That's impressive that you took that leap of faith. Not a lot of people are willing to do that. And I think that's what it really takes to make it, in whatever field or whatever you want to do in life, is just kind of taking that leap of faith and saying, fuck it. What do I have to
Yeah.
lose? I only have one life,
Yeah. Yeah, man, you said it best. Like, all these things that kind of influenced my life, I'm able to pull from every part of it, right? And I think now more than ever is why I want to be kind of like, not want to be, I already am, and it's like a mentor and like a guide to have these creatives and collectives experience a life of freedom, bro. It's like, why not? We have the tools, we have the power to, get the networking, all this stuff. It's like, it's so much faster now. So if I can make it even faster for people, like, why fucking not, right? And so that's my thing, is like, I want to see you develop into the character that you want to be, or get to. I want Sorcery to have a successful fucking project and influence the world in their way, right? And maybe even have like some type of collab or something in the future. I don't know. Fucking, I want Kai to
I
just
love that
do
subtle
whatever you
drop.
want to do, bro. It's like, I just want people to fucking do what they want to do, man. That's it. That's really it.
Yeah, man.
And I want us to get paid while doing it, though. You know what I mean? It's like,
I respect it, man. I respect what you're saying, and this is such a great conversation you guys are having. And if you guys down in the audience are like what you're listening to, go ahead and retweet the room. Hit the button in the bottom right corner, share it with your friends, get them in here. And if you want to just come on up and ask any questions, or if you're relate and you just want to vibe with us and then talk about what we're talking about, by all means, request to speak. We'll pull you up, and yeah.
Sneaky, there's no pressure here, but there's a little bit of pressure. I'm kidding, man. No worries, but I'd love to talk to you if you're able to at all.
Yeah, man. If anyone wants to come up, fucking come up. I'll answer some questions. I'll give you some advice, whatever, man. I mean, just talk to talk. I don't care. That's fine.
There's a fire truck going by outside my house, so I can't really say anything. It's been really loud, but I did want to mention that, like, a lot of what we want to do is just like provide resources for artists. And one of those things that we were actually talking about with some other artists, like I think in a Twitter thread, was that there aren't really that many great options for shipping prints and other physical artwork anonymously, or like in a very, very low doxed environment, because there's ways to do it on like form function or exchange potentially, but they still require you to give a large amount of your personal details, and you can't really pay in crypto and stuff like that as easily. So like after this space, I want to talk with Hercules and maybe see if we can figure out some way to implement like a collaboration to allow artists to to ship their artwork physically, or like at least or and stuff like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Hercules can do that. The verification system is pretty simple. You link your Discord, you link your Twitter, they can check that out. You link your wallet. There's an escrow until it's delivered with the tracking service from UPS, and we provide the shipping label.
Hell yeah, Hercules for the people. You got my vote.
I love it. I love it. And congrats on your upcoming mint. Really excited for all that.
Hell yeah, bro.
Say congrats after the mint, man. Don't
I know.
predict
Hey,
it later.
I hear it, but it's still a really exciting time. So,
Yeah, man.
a lot of hard work went into it. I know that.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to Lyco because I am a 6'1" Italian dude that has cards
Bro,
playing
fuck.
soccer.
You're
So
one of
like,
those, man.
I've gotten a lot. I've seen the cardboard a lot. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah,
seen
you
that
know
yellow.
exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So man, all those injuries, man. I just want to apologize.
Yeah, I got 2 bad ankles, fam. Like, yeah, they're pretty bad. I fractured both of them actually multiple times. Y'all too big, fam. I'm like, I was like 5'8", 5'9" at my best, maybe like 145 pounds at that time. So yeah, very, very easy to just destroy.
But I heard after you started art, now you're like 6'3", right?
6'2". We're getting there.
It's crazy, man. Transitions, crazy.
Transitions, fam. Yeah, everything just grows, right? It's like, yo, fucking beast mode everywhere.
Amen to that. Shit, I'm getting into art now.
Yeah. But no, man, it's a beautiful thing to see. I'm just glad to be here. The space is pretty dope. Everybody who's been here thus far, I really thank you because the amount of effort that we put into this has been extensive. And yeah, man, just blessed to be here and really be somebody who can kind of just guide, dude. And the art itself is just that's one of the hardest things as a founder that I realized is like I want to fucking leak everything right as it comes. I'm like, yo, they need to see this, dude. And I'm just like so strong. I'm like, damn, I can't do it yet, but I want to so bad, right? I know Hercules, you probably felt like that. It's like, you just want to showcase what you build, dude, but you can't, man, not yet. Soon though, very, very soon.
All the time, dude. All the time. The problem is like people just remember. Like there's always one guy who's like, "Wait, but you said this," and you're like, "Ah, damn, I did."
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, that is true, man. People, they're
Yeah,
on
that's
it.
one thing you always got to keep in mind whenever you're with a project that's in the Web3 space. The space adapts really fast, so the founders adapt really fast. So that means what you heard, 3 weeks ago might not necessarily be 100% accurate, but along the lines, right? So it
Yeah.
happens a lot in the space.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
also why you have to root into your why. Like although the mission, or although the things that you're doing may change, your mission stays the same. And if you bring in the right people and have the people with that same vision as you, no matter where you go, you're still with that vision. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
And to add on to that, you know what this feels like for me, bro? Because all this is still fairly kind of newish, but I think what's happening within even just Web3 and Solana with the one-on-one artists that I have come to meet and talk to, um, this really feels like New York in the 80s, right? Where you had Basquiat, you had Andy Warhol, you had Keith Haring, kind of all developing at the same time, doing their own thing, but under this one umbrella. And I think that's happening here again, bro. And not just for what like as a Web3 with like the whole like, oh, this is new.com, like that sentiment more so towards like these artists are taking a very, very huge risk, myself included, by kind of being in this community of innovators, right? Of doing things different. Because I'll tell you this much, it took me a very long time to convince some of my collectors to fucking buy an NFT, right? And after a little guidance here and there, showing them the value and stuff, some sales on the blockchain that I have and shit. I was able to kind of formulate this portfolio to showcase that there is value here. And I think for anybody hearing this right now, not financial advice, but from a collector and an artist himself, being in the fine art space for quite some time, this is a fucking once in a lifetime opportunity with some of these artists. Not all of them, but some of them, right? And collecting some of their stuff this early on when shit is so fucking new and people are still learning what an NFT is insane, bro. It's like if you're not capitalizing on that now, like I don't know what the fuck you're doing. But for real, if you're a collector, dude, like big shout outs to you because you're able to really just put yourself in a position that can ultimately change your life because I haven't seen something like this in the whole time that I've been an artist myself, and I've been in some rooms with like some very very important people in this space when it comes to like this big auction houses and like who the next person is gonna be to blow up in the art space, selling like over 100K for one painting, right? And so I think especially with Solana being so cheap, bro, it's insane. It's like I don't know, man. I'm just over here scrambling around, like seeing, what other artists to collect because all you really need from a collector's perspective is one or two of these artists to hit and to continue hitting afterwards, and you're set, dude. Like if you own a few pieces of said artists and they blow up, like what happens to your bags, right? Like, dude, it's the same thing. It's just a different niche, and so I think that more people need to hear this, right? Because it's very important to understand the opportunity that we have in front of us.
Right. And
So yeah,
one thing I want to point out about One Dope Kids is that it gives our holders the opportunity while we build the system out for collectors and for artists to, be able to connect together in a different type of form. But it also rewards our holders too, being able to be there at the forefront of where that art is being basically where the art is, right? And just able to see that early on and get that showcased in front of them. So I mean, it puts them in a unique perspective. Oh, so there's more to it down the line. Our holders, we definitely plan on giving art to our holders down the line. I mean, that's something we've always been adamant on is being a art utility project, right? So yeah, if you want to go ahead
yeah,
and continue.
yeah. To add on to that, to kind of close this out, I know we are running like a little over an hour. Is that's what we're
I want to
doing,
say
dude.
thank you, Angel, for coming up. Sorry for cutting you
Yeah,
off there, my
word.
dear.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, welcome, man. I didn't even see that shit. Good to have you, bro. It's always a good combo with you on these spaces. But yeah, to kind of add on to that real quick, and we can kind of go after that. If anybody has questions, we more than welcome. Is we're making that whole process much easier and a much more fulfilling experience of how to be in the know, right? It's like who is the next artist to really pop off, right? And with One Dope Kids, it's we're making that more accessible, and we're actually going to make it even more exclusive by acquiring some of these artists and having them do special things just for ODK holders, right? And so if we can position you guys in a place where you really are just there to vibe out and like we're there to guide you throughout the whole thing to be able to capitalize and just be part of the wave. It's like I don't know. As a collective standpoint, I'm like, what more do we want, right? It's like we have the info. We're giving you the tools to be able to do it in a way that makes it fun, right? And we're doing it in a very exclusive way that just adds more value and makes the whole process like enjoyable. So
Along with
yeah,
the
man.
community that's behind it, right? I mean, you guys are the major part of it all, and we wouldn't be anywhere without all of you here,
Exactly. Yeah,
honestly.
100%. And we plan to do so much shit, dude. It's like this is just very, very early stages, and the plans that we have are so extensive. It's much more than just buying, collecting art. It's like it's going to lead to so many other things. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's only
so
so
we can
much
close it
you
out
could
with that.
say, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But just wait.
exactly.
So,
So,
yeah.
Angel, I see you had joined the stage. You want to say anything, my friend?
Pleasure, man, and thank you again, One Dope Kids, Drew, Lyco, Swiss Kai. You guys are awesome, man, in the way that you guys lead these. Each of you guys is, I think, just you guys' project. Like the way that you guys have been growing, the way that you guys are working out, you guys' vision, you guys' core values, the way that you guys really want to empower these artists, and not just artists, but also collectors, and kind of provide like a meeting point for both sides, I think is incredibly new. I think that's, I mean, just the value perspective of that. I mean, I said this in other spaces and how I kind of view value. If you can save people time, like if you look at Calendly, right? When I use Calendly all the time, whenever I'm setting up appointments with people and clients, they save me about maybe 5-10 minutes. Yet they're worth $1 billion. They're $1 billion company. So imagine if you're able to remove that. You know, think about as someone who's a part of this ecosystem, who's going to benefit directly from this ability to save not just artists time and resources, but also collectors. That's a major, I think, a value point that you guys would be able to just to leverage, right? And being a part of a community like that through One Dude Kids, and you guys kind of um, like creating this atmosphere so that other artists can, you know, find other collectors and collectors can find certain artists. I think that just being in a empowering project like that and culture that you guys are really cultivating is something that's fresh, it's new, and you know, I'm super excited about it. So, you know, if there's any way that I can help you guys out, you know, I'm always standing by. But you know, I have a true, I have 100% faith, 1,000% faith in what you guys are doing and who you guys are. I've spoken with most of you guys. Um, you know, throughout, I think I've spoken to almost everybody here in some way, shape, or form. Some of you more closely. I think over time it's going to be interesting to see what other artists you guys bring on board and what other collectors you can kind of expose to these young artists and even these more mature artists. So um, you know, I'm behind One Dope Kids, and I like you guys' vision. I think it's from a brand perspective. I think there's a lot of value behind it.
Hey, big shout out to you, bro. Thank you for
Let's
that. Like,
go.
it's like I feel
Much
like
love,
once
Angel.
people really start to understand it, it just clicks, bro. You know what I mean? So, beautiful thing to say, bro. Like, thank you so much, honestly. And actually, I think you're like our lucky rabbit because as you were speaking, we got a 5 sold bid on the auction. So, damn, man,
Hey,
so
oh my
hearts to you.
gosh.
Yeah, there we
Angel, come
go.
up more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
speaking on the auction a bit, I just want to touch this auction. You know, we have something we have for actually these first 5 auctions, the creative pot. Um, we haven't really released any information on it yet on how it's going to be distributed. If you want to take a look at the pinned tweets, you can read a little bit about it. But basically, with all these auctions, we're giving back a little bit to one-on-one creatives, and so yeah, let's go ahead and give that a look and share it if you think it's something that you stand for, and you know it's something that aligns with your visions. Not going to ask you to share something that you don't believe in. That's all it is, you know?
yeah, 100%. And on that note, if anybody has questions, to come on up here before we close this out. And
Oh, we need
yeah,
to draw the giveaway thing.
oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Almost forgot. Fuck. All right. One of you guys want to go ahead and run that randomizer? Um,
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Give me one moment. Let's go ahead and keep conversation flowing.
for sure. Okay. Yeah. So I guess to add on, you know, this is our very first space, the Creative Mind, and it's like moving forward with these other spaces. We do plan to have these artists come up here, talk about themselves a little bit, and get into a conversation of what it means to be creative, and not just a creative, but one that wants to be successful with what they do, right? And to be able to make a living off of their work. Because at the end of the day, I think that's one of the uh, most common goals that a lot of us have. It's like we want to create and we want to get paid by doing it and just live a lifestyle that, you know, we really enjoy. and that's not an easy thing to do, man. But it is fucking possible, and that's that's really what we're here to do. So big shout out to everybody here again for listening, tuning in. We will make this a weekly thing, if not by twice a week. We'll see, in due time. But I do plan to making this an ongoing thing and adding value where we can from both sides. Always collectors, creative. It's like we need to attack both sides because one can't exist without the other, and vice versa. And I think it's very important to understand that.
And I do want to add a lot of what we've been doing. I can't touch too much on it, but there's a lot of research that goes into the things that we're building and having mutually beneficial systems for both artists and collectors. And, each have their own needs and their own wants, and making sure to minimize or I guess maximize the things that both sides are receiving and getting is really just the primary goal, So I want to just say thank you to the entire team so far. It's been an absolute pleasure, but also, we still have our head down and we have a lot of work to do. So I'm excited. I'm eager, and we're gonna really do some cool stuff. I'm really excited.
Yeah, likewise, man. It's I think once we start to release little bits and
How's our
little
giveaway
bits
going, by
of
the way?
like who, yeah, how's it going? I think Ice is working on it.
I'm verifying that they commented the artwork right now.
Okay, bet. So one last thing I would want to talk about, and it's really just kind of like to get people excited. It's like once you guys start to see more and more of who we're in the works with, right, and who we're talking to as far as doing stuff together, it's like it'll start to really start this wave of like, yo, okay, fucking One Dope Kids is everywhere, right? Because part of this whole process was me as a creative, as a one-to-one artist, making a name for myself within the ecosystem, right? And having something to show. And so to be able to be, first of all, like, I think the top 50 leaderboard of exchange of all time is kind of insane, bro, because I've only been for like 2.5 months, right? I've had exchange come to me, when they were doing their management system. Uh, they wanted to manage me as well, and we all saw how that went. But nonetheless, like they're very supportive of what we're doing, what I'm doing as an artist, and it's pretty cool to see that these big names took notice of us so early, before we really have anything to show. So it's kind of cool to be able to be in the place where I got my foot in the door, right? As an artist, now it's like, oh, all right, now let's put ODK within that same door in that room now. And we're doing it little by little, where it makes sense, where it's organic, where it makes people excited. And so we have a lot to fucking show, right? We're only just getting started. So don't fucking fade us. I'm telling you now, like, if you fuck with us, just stick around. That's all I'm saying. Just stick around. You don't have to be active in the chat, but keep your eyes open and just look out for One Dope Kids, because you will see it more and more often on your timeline.
All right, our winner is now pinned. Congratulations, Everteen NFT.
Hey, congrats. Some hearts for you, fam. Angel, I saw you had your hand raised, bro.
So I think I missed some of this, and again, congratulations to the winner. I think it's amazing, man, that you guys are doing this stuff. A question for you guys. So you guys are creating One Dope Kids, and you guys have obviously, you yourself are an artist. It's a big thing when exchange art. You mentioned was it exchange art or was it form function that asked if they could manage you?
It was exchange art.
Right. That's probably one of the bigger. I mean, there's three. There's two of them mainly. There's form function and exchange art. Either way, the fact that they went out to you and asked if they can manage you says a lot, right? It means that you have something that they see that perhaps other artists may not have. Other artists may sell, but there's something else that's different from you that instantly catches their eye. And I wanted to say, that's unique. That's a unique thing to be in a position where you can turn down these opportunities. I want to know because you're turning down these opportunities, how are you? Well, I don't like saying that you're turning down these opportunities. What I'm saying is that you're keeping the doors open, right? So it's not like you're anchoring yourself down to anything yet. How are you going to use One Dope Kids as a platform for artists? Like, have you talked about that yet? Is that something that, um, I mean, I think perhaps that's something you guys
Yeah,
talked about.
yeah. I mean, and to clarify, I did turn that down actually. So
Okay,
I did
you
turn
did,
that
you
down the
did.
deal. But not in a way that we closed the door completely. Like, nah. I made when I went to Colombia to Hacker House, I got in touch with Milts, the co-founder of Exchange, super cool guy. Told him my story, and he loves it, right? And he supports everything. And but yeah, going forward, using ODK as a platform, it's exactly that, man. It's like the more we're able to acquire these partnerships or people coming in wanting to do stuff with us, not just us with our artists, it's like, what more do you really want? It's like being able to be in a position where it's like, okay, well, all right, show us the proposition and we'll get back to you. If it makes sense, then we'll make it happen. But definitely having partnerships with brands or other projects, or even just a person like a big time collective that just wants to, say for instance, acquire a whole series of one person's art, which I've seen happen many times again in the real world, where it's like, yo, they get the memo that said artist is about to have a moment with the big show. What do? Bro, they acquire like 5 to 10 pieces if possible, right? Because they know what's about to happen. And so we can do the same thing. It's like, why fucking not? It's just a much faster pace here. You don't have to wait 2 to 3 years to get a return on your bags. It's like this, 2 years is a fucking lifetime in Web3. Just so the amount of opportunity there, it's very insane, to be honest. It's but yeah, definitely utilizing ODK as a platform for sure, 100%.
Just one more thing. I would like to point out that on our like intro section in the Discord, we do have a slide for something upcoming that we're working on called onefine.art. So there is substance there. We are very much considering different ways of assisting artists in their development. So this isn't just like some nebulous thing where we're just saying it's connections. There's an actual platform coming along with this.
That's perfect. That's actually what I was going to ask next is, how can artists kind of use, or how can artists be a part of the community and benefit from One Dope Kids? What are the things that they can learn along this way? Is that is that something that's been made public yet?
Yeah, so I'll say what we can say there. Uh,
Perfect.
we're building mutually beneficial tools for creatives and collectors alike. Um, I want to be very careful with the statements because we know Web3, but I just have to say it's been a lot of research, a lot of building coming, and I'm just really excited to start to roll that out. So if you're in the Discord, check out announcements coming up. We just have to finalize a few things before we start pushing out more information surrounding that. But it 100% supports artists and it 100% supports our collectors. It's mutually beneficial and it's something that can only be done through Web3. So it's been a long time coming and I'm really excited for it. And I know everyone else is.
All right, so if there's no more questions, I would like to close this out. It's been real, it's been exciting, and honestly, I'm just very ecstatic to be able to be here with all of y'all, man. This is first of many, and we will get better over time. But yeah, I think overall this is a really great space. If you enjoyed it, drop some hearts and make sure to be notified in our Discord. Just stay attentive. There's a lot coming in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, just keep your eye out, man, and I'll fuck with all of y'all.